Hello everybody and welcome to another tutorial in camera and lens repair. And this time a friend of mine asked me if I could take a look at this because it has stock aperture plates, and this is an old Flektogon 2.8 35mm for the Exakta. So let's have a look at it. It has a problem. Well, if I set it to 2.8, yeah, well, the aperture is full open, but if I set it to 22, well, look what happened. Nothing, except for when I press the depth of field button here, and nothing really happened. So it's because of oil on the aperture in here. So we'll take a look at it. Yeah, we take off the front nameplate here, and it's done with the number 4 cone, rubber cones from Japan Hobby Tool. No, I'm not sponsored by any company, so make that clear. Now we unscrew this counterclockwise, so put it on and could sit tight, and off it comes, very easy. So nothing special about that. Next thing is there are 2 notches here on the front, this one and the other one, and I will just unscrew this counterclockwise as usual, and it's with a homemade compass whatever tool, which have modified to the need for this one. Sorry. And we unscrew it. Sits tight, and it's pretty much straightforward to the Flektogon 4 and aperture 4 and 20mm, but there are some differences. Or for the lens, front lens group, nothing special about that. And then we look into here. Now then we go to the back, because we cannot take out the aperture. I need to take off the mount here, which sits with 4 screws, there, 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 and there. And it's done with a 2.5mm flathead screwdriver, nothing special. There is an aperture click in here, and it's not a steel ball as I thought in this one, but it's more a pin kind of. Well, I will explain it when we come further into it. It's more simple. There is a leaf, a spring, and a pin. Not the common, a wounded spring and a steel ball, but it's not the case here. So keep fingers on the aperture ring here, and then you can just lift up easily into the back of the lens. See, the aperture which we take here, this is the depth of field system, so you press down on it and this goes out. On the other hand, it will, if it would work normally, press on this pin here, but you can see nothing happen. And especially if I set it to aperture 22, you can see how the inner aperture ring here, and it's very unusual way of doing it, because the lens will change aperture as long as you change the focus. So, but back to this one. This pin here, when press it down, it will, on the other hand, release this pin here. So, and since it's stuck at the moment because of oil in the blades, on the blades, we could probably, if I set it to 22, I could, by a little force, you can see I can close it. So usually this pin here, this one here, would press on this pin, I mean a lever or whatever it names is, you'll press and open the blades. But now it will actually almost get stuck because of oil in the aperture system. And we can probably see it down here. You can see there are all traces on the blades. And we can fully close it, and you see how it is here. So when I press here on this lever here, we can see what's going on. And you can see there is oil traces on the blades. So we have to clean that out. It's not that hard, easier than you think, but there are some guidelines here. You see, now I can, well, I will just show you how it works with the aperture. If I set it to 20, no, let's set to 2.8. Now, let's see what's happened in here. As long as we have to set it on infinity at first. When I change the focus on this, look what's happened here. Because it's quite interesting, because the aperture ring will actually move. So you remember I set it to 2.8, but now it has changed to 4. Haha. And it's because the angle of this pin, see how much has actually moved. So I can just move it to 2.8 because the angle of this gap here is not straight, it's more like this. And when I change the focus, it will also change the aperture from 2.8 to 4. So it's not much, but enough anyway. But let's dig into it. Just take off the aperture ring and do it in that way. So just take it. Yeah, well, we could make it. You can see how this pin here is going there. And on the other side, of course, there are all the notch for the aperture click. And there is a pin, not the steel ball. You probably can see here. And there is not a rounded spring. There is a, hope you can see it. There is actually a leaf spring. So when, maybe it's better to put in the pin so I can show it to you. So something like that. So you see this pin here is actually pressing on the better here, do it that way, so you can see it press on the difficult to focus. Come on, little fellow. difficult. Here we are. You can see it pressed down in here. So it's not the normal way of making a aperture steel ball spring collection tension. Well, we need to get some parts out, and because we need to take out the mechanism that hold the aperture ring in here in place. Also, there's the mechanism here, which we need to set it to fully close, so there's less tension on the spring here. And before doing anything, we need to make scratch on here, on the edge of here. You can see because I already been in and investigate how it actually works. And on the other side, it would also make sense to make a scratch. You could also, depends on what you like, you could also have a scratch here, just in case of something. But we need to take this out, and it's quite easy. Just the two screws here. Out of those, nothing special, but the holes are bigger, a little bigger than the screw itself. So that's why it can move back and forth in way of adjustment. So that's out for that. There's still some tension on here, so we can just take it out by just see, doing this won't work. We have to grab it here, so there, and need a better tweezer here, and we simply lift it up here, and that way this one comes out here from the inner notch there. See, it gets in there, and this plate here, this bracket, will sit correct. So when you grab down here, you could turn it a little as long as you move it out. So in that way, take it out. So nothing special about that. You see, that's important. There is a kind of a fork here, this one here, and it engages with this notch, whatsoever it's called, this area here. So when focus in and out, this will move in a way, and also it will be in this place as long as the focus, as we can see here, it goes in and out, and in that way it will move the still move the aperture, so it will be in the same place. So hope you will get it. Now, to get that out, we need to take out some more stuff, and I will say this pin here. So there, and it's also a good thing to make a scratch down here on each. One side would be enough, so we can just make a scratch here. I haven't been fully into the aperture assembly, but now we are going deeper into it. So this mark is very important because those holes here, as the Flektogon 20mm, will be not round, but it will be long. So this plate, this bracket here, can actually move a little for the adjustment. Now, to get that out too, we will take out the 2 screws. So, and this one. And as you can see here, this pin also goes into here, and there is a kind of a stop here. Oh, well, this is a stop, so it cannot go any further, but it has the purpose that you adjust the stop for this one, for the aperture, well, the aperture blade ring, whatever so name it has, and those holes are actually also big, so it can be moved a little. Now we should be able to actually take out the inner. Doesn't really matter how much you turn the focus, but well, we could just do so. And then we need to take out. There's a ring, a lock ring down here. It has a notch. This ring here, the outer. Not this one. Not this one. But this notch here and this notch here. And for that, you could use a compass tool, but which I like to do a lot, is taking a hole saw, which is this one. It's actually a 32mm in diameter, but I've grind it down to be something like 32mm. 30.72mm. Sorry for that. And it's a really good tool because it's safe to use, and you do not make any harm to anything. So you just put it in, and that's, of course, it has 2 pins here and here. And it's really good, very easy to make. You put it in here and catch the, where does it go here? So there. And then with a good old handle here for a tool for making threads, and then you can unscrew it. So, quite easy. And we can just get rid of it and simply unscrew the inner ring here. But it looks like it's quite long, so I will just unscrew the tool here and just turn it by hand. It looks like there probably have been some thread lock in here. I don't know, show, but so should be quite easy. And the thread is actually quite long, as I see. So here we are. Now getting that out, I've made, used an an older tweezer and simply bend the legs out so it can act as a inverse tweezer. And it's good to take out the what you say, the retaining ring. Let's hold this system in here. Now, as I see it, this ring down here is just a ball bearing. It doesn't do anything. There's no adjustment here, but it's, you see there are two notches, and it's just to hold the inner aperture in place, and at the same time it can get to move actually. But so one thing I need to do is to take out the whole assembly. But you see this gap down here, oh, better do it right that way here. See this gap here, this one here, has to sit to against this area here, because it's where the, I mean, we have to open up the aperture full, so something like that. So you see this area here has to almost sit in line with this area here, and then we can take it out. There will probably be some plates that will follow. Well, I actually don't know, but see, I can lift out the inner part here. So you can see here, and there are probably some traces of oil here. Well, it's kind of sticky, and you can actually see there are traces of oil here. But where does it come from? Yeah, mostly from the focusing helicoid system. And but for now, we'll just recognize how the blade sits in here. And there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 blades. So it's nothing special. And we can just take one blade out, lift it out a little, but they stick together a little. So, and then I will jump it into isopropylalcohol. So, and see the other blades, there's also a lot of traces of old oil. Oh. No, it doesn't get away. We can take that, and it will be even more. You can see how much they stick together. And now it sits wrong. So that's why the aperture system does not work. It's really, really glued together with the old oil. I mean, it's actually old grease. Whoa. But it's not that difficult to actually get out. So we will then use a cotton bud to wipe just a little of the inner aperture ring here, which just sit in place. And just we use a cotton bud, some isopropylalcohol on, You probably think, why call it isopropyl? Well, it's called isopropyl in English, yeah, I know that. But in Danish, it's called isopropyl. So there. And I think it will be all fine. It doesn't need to have much of it. So there. And I think it's probably fine for now. Doesn't seem to have much traces of oil. So I will just let it be as it is. Now, then we could go on to the actual blade itself. And this ring here, to make it oil free, I'll just use a little here. It's mostly on the blade itself. So there. Oh yeah, you can see there is a lot of dirt. So there. Much better. Much better. So now I can just go ahead here and I will just speed up the process of cleaning the actual blade itself. There's no need for us have it too slow. And now the last blade. So then it looks so much better, and it's quite easy to put back in again, which we will do. Get rid of this, and then just go back to where we are. You see, the notch, this notch here, we have to be in this corner, and so we'll just begin with the blades in the opposite direction. I just used my special homemade tweezer, which will make it so much easier to put in blades here. Because it can come in straight. The blade has to be like this, so it has to sit in this way. So this hopefully you can see it. Difficult to see. I hope we can make it. This gap down here has to have the outer pin, which will be this pin here. It has to go straight into this, so it sits like that, almost, and so far, and so on. I mean, I would just go straight ahead. The last blade is a different story, because we have to move, hold on to one of the blades at the same time we hold on, we put in the last blade. So there, and it'll be something like that, almost. Maybe this one needs a little adjustment, so it sits more correct. Yeah, something like that. Now, let's see, I will use a long tweezer and at the same time put in, it will be a little surgery kind of. You see, this blade here needs to, this end of the blade here, this blade will go under this one. But at the same time, I need to press down here. Nah, maybe I need to press down over here to hold this in place. So, I know it's difficult to see, but so it'd be something like that. And then I can make my adjustment here. Especially this blade here needs a little adjustment. So there. And we have to align the blades anyway. So now it sits correct. All the blades are sitting where they should. And then I can lower the, have to sit in a, almost a circle. So then I can add this ring, and remember this gap here, this gap here has to sit as close to this corner here. Oh, it has to sit over to here. I was too far over. So now we just align the blades so they almost sit correct. You need some different tools to put it correct in. So, and this one has to be there. See, sometimes it's not that easy. Oh gosh. Well, there, we're almost there. There, and the last two there. Whoa! Now they came into place, which is nice. And let's see if we can move it. I think we can. Oh, much better. You see, the pins here have to sit more towards the center than I would expect at first. But now they sit fine. So I can just add the retaining ring here, put it in to correct place, and with my special tool here it will be so much easier. Just going a little backward to catch the thread. Click and just screw it in. And then it's then the rest of it is just reverse process. Really long thread. But you see, with a tool like this, it's so much easier. Now we are there, and I will just tighten it good. So now everything is back to normal. Let's see, will it work or not? Whoa. Wow, so much better. So it works as it should. Very easy to move, and the whole aperture system will come back to life. So now I will just set it to near end, to infinity, and we can just continue with putting stuff into place, which shouldn't be a problem. This pin here goes into this place here. It will just go in like here, and it should be something like that, and just do this. Tighten the screws good. I mean, there is no need actually for using any thread lock. You could use some varnish on the screw head. It will prevent the screws from actually loosen. I will just show you before I tighten the screws here what will happen. Because if you haven't set a mark here, you could see how much we just have this. You can see how much it can actually be adjusted. So if you haven't set the mark, you will probably end up with a wrong adjustment this way or the other way or whatever in between. So now it's important to set those mark. I mean, no one will ever, except if they take a look inside the lens, they would never ever see those scratch here. So that's why it is so important to, it's the same thing when you work with helicoils, remember those marks. It's your only backup. So now we are finally on this one, and I can do this here, but it looks like it's a bit, what do you say, sticky. So I'll just add a little, isopropylalcohol here, and because it's quite sticky here, just clean this, and so we can have it moving on. Probably need some here. Oh, it's better. And I would think if I add a tiny amount of grease on this one, on a small cotton bud, I think it would work. And I will just try with some Helimax X Pro. Let's see, it would work because this is just a follower, so it doesn't, I think it would be fine. Just a tiny amount. And also on the side here and here. So let's see what's happened. Yeah, much better. Remember, this lens is actually quite old, so it hasn't had any grease or oil the last many years. I think it would help a little on this one. Yeah, much better. So away with that. Now, so we can put this in, and I actually found out that could be a little easier this way. So having this one added into the gap here, see, it goes in this place, and hopefully something like that. So now, come on. And the gap here with the aperture has to be there. So this gap here. So this is happen when the aperture is fully closed. Okay, comes out. No. Well, as I remember, it would be a lot easier when the aperture is closed. Yeah, that's correct. Oh, we can just try again. Okay. The pin goes in here, and then we can add one screw. Over there. Just so it just sits in place, kind of. Yeah, so here we are. And yeah, it came into place. At least. Okay, we put it back in again. So there. And then I can tighten this screw. So have a hold on in. And then the other screw came in. And then I can just make my adjustment in line with the mark. E. So here we are. And now just need to align the two screw holes here. Just loosen it a little. So, and then we can align the two holes into here, the other. Yeah, so it's fine. And then fully tighten it. And here we are. So now you can see it works as it should. And if I move the focusing system, it will still work as it should. And now I can add the aperture ring itself. And I think it also need, because this part here also needs some kind of grease. Not much, but I think I will give it a little, especially on the little pin here. It needs some. So on here, doesn't have to have a lot. So I think it must be enough, because then it will be much smoother. And I don't think I need anything here on the aperture click. So I can add this ring here, and it has to go into place. It has to go out there, so it cannot go any further. And the click is fine. So I would think if I move the fully closed, so it's fully open, I just need to see how easy it is to turn, actually. Yeah. And of course the aperture ring will also move up to 4. I think it's interesting. Now, then I can add the mount. And this is really alive, so I don't need to do anything about that. Well, maybe just add a little grease here on this, just a tiny amount. As long as it will press on this one here. Just a tiny amount. So I think it will be fine. Then load my screwdriver with one screw. So it'll just be easier to add the mount. See, this pin in here, like in the other Flektogon 20mm, has to press on this one here, and in that way to close the aperture if it was closed. Let's see. See, it will actually press on it, if I can get it to do that. Well, I can just press down on the, or maybe I should just that's a good thing. If I press down here, hold it, and simply put it on to the lens, then leave it. Oh, it's in lock position. So there. What's happened here? Should work. I was jumped out of place in here. Now that was what's happened here? Sit there. Sit there. Have it all the way over to here. So this gap here, then I can press down here and move it. So it should stay there. And then I will simply open the aperture. You see the mechanism here is moving here. So I think it's better to set it when you put the mount on. I think it's better to set the aperture ring over to 2.8. And then I think it will be much easier to actually add the mount here. So there's no problem with that. Maybe I need to press down a little so you can see here. Then I can close it. Then, whoa, wow, works really good, as it should. But you see, it's much better to just do it again. Set it to, now it's on 2.8, but when I move the aperture ring to 22, the little pin here, this pin that actually moved the blades to when I press here, is has it very easy to jump out. But setting the aperture ring to 2.8, it will actually press this further in. And in that way, it will be easier to put the mount on. Simple as that. Then I can just screw the 4 screws into the mount. So, and there, and this one is also fine. Now, then we can add the, let's see what's happened. Wow, that's amazing. Then I can just add the aperture ring, not the aperture ring, gosh, the front lens screw, so there shouldn't be anything in here. Add this lens going a little backwards so you catch the thread. So, yeah. And then use the compass, lens tool, whatever you have, and tighten it good. So, that's all, actually. Then add the nameplate. Hold on a second. Just do this. Now, then going a little backward, should catch the thread. So, and then here we are with a working lens again. That was all for me. Hope you enjoy the content of this old fellow, and you hope you can use the info. Thank you for watching. See you sooner. Bye bye.